Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me, I've had Acrobatics and Tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach. Last night you faced Limestone, a really good team. Came in undefeated at 4-0. You fell by 10 points, but you still had a season high. Just give me your thoughts on the loss last night.
I'm extremely happy with what the girls put on the floor last night. I've been preaching to them if we could just execute at a meet, I think obviously our scores will show and our dynamic is just going to continue to grow from there. So that's what I was looking for last night, and I feel like I got that. I'm very happy with what they put out there, and just the dynamic of the sideline I think helped us last night. They were very energetic. The girls were happy with what they were doing. They were coming off the floor excited, and that's a big reason why I do what I do. Like, I want that from the girls, but just to see that kind of show last night was really important going into the rest of the season, but also just fun. It was a great meet.
And now I mentioned the high score. I mean, it's 11 points higher than what you scored at all this year. Is that still, even with the loss, is that still a big positive to take as you now go into Hawaii Pacific?
Absolutely. There's nothing negative I can take from last night's meet. Obviously, Limestone's a great team, and I feel like we really held our own at points. Like, we were winning different events. So that's big going up against a team like that. So I feel like going into the rest of our season, last night was very important for us.
And now you'll take a little bit of a trip out to Hawaii Pacific. They fell in their first meet. They're going to compete twice this week in Texas before they face you guys next Tuesday. Just preview that. What are you ready for with Hawaii Pacific?
Oh, obviously we're very excited to go to Hawaii, but I have big plans going into this meet, so we're really going to work hard before we take off. But I just want to see the girls continue to execute and continue to try to up some of our start values so we can continue to hang with some of these nationally ranked programs.
And now looking at Hawaii Pacific as well, you get to go all the way out to Hawaii. Just kind of give me your thoughts around wanting to do this trip to Hawaii, because obviously you're going there to compete, but obviously you're taking girls to a trip that they probably will never be able to go to, normally. So just give me your thoughts about going out there.
Right. So this is something that I've been wanting to do since I came back to Glenville to coach. So I'm very excited that this finally got approved and we got the opportunity to go out there. The girls obviously are very excited, but all in all, I really picked up the meet because I want to start going against more nationally ranked programs and just helping our program continue to grow and get our name out there. And obviously that helps with recruitment and everything like that. So definitely excited to give the girls this opportunity, but also to go out. I keep telling them, like, it's all fun and games, but we're on a business trip. Mm-hmm. So we've got to make something happen out there so we can continue to compete against nationally ranked programs like that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck next week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had men's basketball coach Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Jagger. Glad to be here.
All right, Coach, this past week you finished out the regular season. You started at Charleston. It was an 84-69 loss. It was a tie game at halftime. You fell behind by 10 in the second half. You were able to claw back and tie back up, but then UC went on another big run just to be able to pull away there late. Just your thoughts on that loss.
Well, there was a 2-minute stretch between 10 minutes to go in the game and 8, and they went on a 16-0 run. That's the difference in the game, and that's happened to us both times against them. We played them even here at Glenville for 37 minutes, and we just have to figure out a way to stop that run when we play them again. They're a dynamic team, and when they get hot, they really get confident. And it's happened to us twice, but I thought we got great effort out of the guys, and Zaire Blackwood transferred here from there, and I thought he gave us a big lift and had a good game. And Amar Maxwell and Donnie Lewis, both of them played very well.
And then on Saturday, you went to Concord, a team that coming into the day looked like who you would play in the Mountain East Conference tournament, but obviously the result of this changed that. You beat them 96-78. Only time you trailed in the game was 2-0 on the first basket of the game. You got 20 points out of Elijah Redfern. What did you think of the win there?
Well, I thought we got tremendous point guard play out of Elijah, going 10 for 16, and plus Eddie. They don't call him Gus Eddie anymore. They call him plus Eddie because of his plus-minus. But I thought he came in the game and, had 7 points, made 3 out of 4 shots, had assists, just really gave us a lift. And then we shot 41 out of 66 as a team. And we're going to be hard to beat if we shoot that well. And I thought it all started with us getting good quality shots. We were able to get into our transition game, which, and the only way to get into transition, you have to get defensive stops and rebounds. So we were able to do that, and I thought, it was the best game all year of us putting two halves together and really playing as a team. And, we went about 10 deep, and everybody contributed. And I thought it was just a great team win.
And then now you finished 6th in the league. You drew Charleston in the first in the quarterfinals of the MEC tournament. This is a team who beat you twice in the regular season, like you mentioned. The score really didn't indicate both games because, like you mentioned also earlier, they were tight until late. How do you all flip the script now this time around and pull off a win against a team like Charleston?
Yeah, well, we're just going to have to play better. Obviously, we'll do a few things differently. But we're going to have to make open shots and, have a few tricks up our sleeve for the third time that you play somebody, which we will. And I think they're a great team, well coached, and I think they know that Glenville's going to come in battle. And I just think we, both games against Charleston, I give them credit defensively, but we haven't hit shots like we typically do. And we're going to definitely have to do that against Charleston to advance to the semifinals.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you, Jagger.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With now, I've had indoor track and field coach Dan Myers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past week you recapped the MEC Indoor Championships. You had Janae Scott repeat as the shot put champion again. Jordan Taylor, Aaron Kuffner, and John Bowen were all MEC second team. And then the DMR team and Charlie Bowman and Braden Hashman were all MEC honorable mention. You also had some new school records, some PRs, all that stuff. How'd you feel the Indoor Championships went?
Yeah, I was, probably better Sunday than Monday, just kind of how some results fell. But overall, a lot more points that we put on the board than last year. Not the team finish we wanted, but, the way these kids worked and the way they performed and the way they showed up in big moments, I'm excited for the future.
And then when you look back at the indoor season as a whole, what do you see?
I was going back through it following our indoor championships. Looking at our top 5 all-time list, we had 25 new performances on there and 35 marks from current athletes on our team, which is huge. We rewrote the record book and the all-time lists, and overall, I'm proud. We got some people qualified in some areas in a really, really tough year that this time last year I didn't even know was possible. So we're starting to spread out a little bit more into some different events, and honestly, like you mentioned all those people that were all conference for us. I think we had 2 all conference performances a year ago. So to do what we did with those group of people was huge. Aaron Kuffner, huge weekend for the program, competed in 9 events for us. He was given everything he had left in that 60 hurdle final following the heptathlon. And he went for it in that last event in the heptathlon in the 1,000, came up 30 points short of the title, but he laid it all out there in the prelim, going 8.16. It's a new level for our program, the 60 hurdles, to hit the NCAA provisional mark, and then to have Braden Hashman, Diggy as we call him, following up and kind of stealing some points there and getting third and getting on the conference as a first-year member of the program for us was huge. Janae Scott back to back, just shows up in the big moments, and we really needed it. Really happy for Charlie Bauman, senior, that's worked tirelessly to get on that podium, and he smashed our school record. Which was awesome to see. Men's DMR, probably is, being a primary distance coach, one of my prouder moments for sure. With Charleston and D&E being the top 2 teams, I told those guys as freshmen, they're standing on the podium with the elite of the elite in our conference. And it was an event we finished dead last in a year ago, and to go out there and get third when, probably one bad leg on that, specifically the 12 mile, one bad leg, and we're probably 6th.
Yep.
So, that was such a huge performance. Then our vaulters showed up when it mattered. John and Jordan to get second place finishes for us, and they know they're going to have to work outdoors to kind of get back to that spot with some different factors into the mix. Just top to bottom, really, really proud of the team.
And then now, as you prepare for the outdoor season, how does that transition look now as you get from the indoor season to the outdoor season?
Yeah, I think I've always said this, and it was kind of, I think our men's indoor last year we only scored 16 points and we scored 40 outdoors, and starting with a 44 factor indoors, hopefully we can get close to 70 outdoors on both sides. We're more fit for outdoors because the hammer, disc, javelin, 400 hurdles, we're very strong in on the men's side. So there's some events outdoors that I think that we can make a bigger splash in. But this was one of my favorite indoor seasons for sure. We can only control what we can control with the people that we bring, and we're breaking down our own barriers. And now we got to set our sights forth on getting back to the upper half of the conference. And I believe we have the nucleus to do it. We're spread pretty thin in some areas, but we're a lot deeper in others than we were this time last year. So moving into outdoor season, we took a few days off coming after indoor, but we've been back at it, enjoying some good weather days and getting in the training. And, we have a big group staying on campus next week for spring break to get some extra work in. So, we have our sights set forth on a big outdoor season.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. We'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Yep, thank you.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item. And as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you got a big week ahead as you travel to Florida for the spring games. You play 8 games in 5 days, and we talked before, you wanted to get some really good competition when you go down there, and you got it this year. You got an Elite 8 team and a few other big schools that you'll face. What do you think of the 8 schools that you'll be playing?
Oh my gosh, so we're so excited. We're going to go down and face some really good competition. We start out on day 1 with Findlay and Winona, and both of them are just phenomenal programs. Truly just phenomenal programs, and they've both gotten out to such a great start. We'll be playing UIndy, who played in the championship game, I believe, in the World Series last year. That's a historically great program. We'll play Shepherd, who last year had one of the best pitchers in all of D2 softball. And shout out to Shepherd, the head coach there used to be my assistant coach when I was a player. So I'm super excited about that on a personal note. But yeah, I'm just so excited to bring this team down. We're a great team. We have some things that we need to work through, but I'm just so excited to see us play some great competition and where we stand with that.
And what are some of the benefits of doing this trip? Is it the competition, the team bonding? What is it when you look at it?
There's so many aspects of it that you love. And we actually just spoke about it last night. It's just a time for, us to grow as a team. We're going to be, out in another state together as one. It's definitely a time where the girls get to rely on each other. They spend the whole week with each other. They're already, some of them are roommates, but when you spend a whole week together in 2 houses, you really get to know each other. So the team bonding there is great. Another aspect that I think's never really talked about a lot is the support that we get from our parents. And I just want to put that out there. I think our parents travel so well, and we always have a good crowd. And I'm just so blessed to have such great families a part of this program. And then that's a great aspect of it all. And then, you go down and you face some great competition and you're on dirt for a week, and it's just like softball living, like softball paradise. So it's challenging towards the end, but yeah, there's all aspects that are just so beneficial to it.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this week.
Thank you. I also, really quick, want to say a big thank you to everyone who donated for Day of Giving to make this trip possible. I'm so thankful for that. The girls are so thankful for that, and we would not be doing this without you. So thank you so much.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, Coach, this past week you went 1-1 to close out the regular season. Started out at Charleston with an 81-72 win. It was a close game really throughout, especially there in the fourth quarter. You had 5 reach double figures. What did you think of the win on Wednesday?
Yeah, really happy with the win over Charleston. Charleston's a really good team, and they've gotten progressively better as the season has went on. They're a really top team in the conference, competitive team in the league, and we had a spark there in the fourth quarter, and I was happy with how the girls played. For the majority of the game, but really playing hard in the third and the fourth quarter, I think, got us that win.
Then on Saturday to finish the regular season, you fell 99-75 at Concord. It was a tight game really until the fourth quarter. Concord was able to pull away, make the score look a little bit bigger than what it really was. You guys just had you struggled shooting the ball that night. Just your thoughts on the loss.
Yeah, obviously, we're looking to build as much momentum as possible heading in to an MEC tournament week here. this week. Disappointed, with the effort that we, showed up in the gym with. I think it's a real hard environment to play in. They made a lot of new additions to the court and to the stands, which makes the environment a little bit of a different feel. They always play. Concord always plays well at home. And again, they're another one of those teams that just play hard. And that night they played harder than us.
And then now you mentioned the MBC tournament. You will face number 3 seed Wheeling. You guys got the 6th seed. You split with Wheeling in the regular season. Now looking at the tournament, how do y'all go out there and pull off the win in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited heading into the Mountain East Conference tournament. Thinking back to, myself as a player. One of the biggest weeks in college basketball. I love the passion and the energy that the Mountain East brings. And so I'm really, really excited, and I'm trying to transfer that excitement over to my girls and explain to them, since we do have a lot of new faces within the program, and just try to explain to them, get them to understand about how big energy is going to play, and going down there and just winning a basketball game. It's a completely different feeling than what regular season games are. I'm excited for the matchup. Like you said, we went 1-1 with them. I think, we go in and we play hard, we execute, and we have a really good shot at it. And
also, you mentioned some new faces in the program. A few of those kids were named all conference, and you also had Nwando Kigbo win Freshman of the Year. Tanisha Bunting, a transfer from Shawan, was All MC first team, and then a returner and Dream Cherry got honorable mention. What have those 3 players meant to your program this year?
Yeah, I think, we've seen nightly, they're game changers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wando is, probably one of the most consistent kids that we have, not only within the team, but I think, here within the school, and, with the numbers that she's been able to put up here for us, as a freshman, has been crazy, and it's helped a lot, and it's been a game changer for us. We're talking, double in the league as a freshman, and some of those double doubles look like 17 and 19, mm-hmm. and so some really, really big games that she was able to put together those numbers for us, and just a real consistent kid. And moving on with Tanisha Bunting and Dream Cherry, they're just basketball players. Mm-hmm. They're just basketball players. I'm happy that they were able to get the individual honors this year, and our focus, after receiving those, we're bringing it back, and now we are looking to achieve that team goal in the Mountain East Conference tournament.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaching Show, presented by GoMart. With me, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back.
All right, Coach. This past weekend, it was a big weekend for the program. You won your first ever Super Regional Championship. You had 2 regional champions individually, and Hayden Pummel and Nick Johnson. Just kind of walk me through the emotions of not only winning a team championship, but also seeing those guys win, and just what transpired in those matches for them to win their championships.
Yeah, it was definitely an up and down day, right? Like any postseason and wrestling tournament, you're going to have unexpected things happen, and you just kind of got to keep you guys as geared up as you possibly can, and also kind of let them try to figure it out, because they're going to have to figure it out at the NCAA tournament as well. And so I was happy with the resilience of our team, and our guys doing what needed to be done to get there, right? We ended up taking 7 of 10, which is awesome, and puts us in a really good place for the NCAA tournament. You talked about Hayden Pummel and Nick Johnson both getting wins. Hayden went out there and was wrestling pretty good. We challenged a call that, probably should have been a takedown, and, he didn't get upset. He just went back on the line and started wrestling again, and then hit the kid with a nice whip over. And, the Grand Valley kid was the returning national champ, and you get a pin there. And I think that that match sealed the team tournament for us, or at least put it to where I think it would have been a tie. And then you go into 184, Kyle Homit's over there wrestling in the 3rd and 4th. And so, those are the last 3 matches, right? And Kyle wins his 3rd and 4th match with a gritty performance. Then you go into Nick Johnson's final match, and he gets a pin, and was really dominant in the tournament after, having some, adversity in his life and everything. And so was really proud of those 2 guys just with the way they wrestled. And, they look really good going into the NCAA tournament. I think Hayden might get the 1 seed there, and Nick's looking solid. But, those other 5 guys as well, they can get it done, right? They can be in the national finals and be national champs. And so, I talked to him, and I think it's just as hard, if not harder, to get out of our region than it is to maybe All-American, right? You don't have to win as many matches and everything. And so, we gave ourselves a shot for those 7 guys now to go wrestle really good. You got to wrestle really good for one day to get on the podium. And if you want to win a national title, you got to wrestle really good for 2 days. And so we're going to have those guys as ready as we possibly can. And, so we're training hard, and some of the guys are training a little bit lighter, getting the bodies feeling better, and then we're going to be ready to go here in 2 weeks.
And you mentioned those 5 other guys. You had 3 get second place with Gabe Honorado, Guy DeLeonardis, and Isaiah Casto. Then you had Kyle Hammett, like you mentioned, get 3rd, and Colton Drusius get 3rd as well. What did you think of those guys being able to battle their way to qualify for nationals as well?
Yeah, I mean, the second place guys they already know they're in, right, going into the finals. And so I think it's a little bit tougher for Kyle and Colton, just mentally having to go into those third place matches and know, hey, if I mess up here and don't wrestle a good match, it's the end of my season. That process kind of sucks, but it is what we wrestle in. And so Colton had Logan Davis, who's ranked 7th in the country, right? And who he has beat the guy before, so that's a confidence boost. He beat him at the MEC championship, and the match was around the same. We didn't get a takedown this time, so it went to overtime, and Colton did a good job of riding him out, and it's the same thing he did at MECs, right? He really was able to kind of put some good top work in, and then we go down in the last period. Colton gets a reversal early, gets into kind of a leg position in a Turk, and just is able to ride it out. And it's very, very exciting for him. At the start of the year, he's kind of in a roster battle, and then once we figured out he's the guy, he's really kind of blossomed, right, and had a great year. So it's awesome for him to get to see that and the excitement, on his face. And, Kyle, he's been there and done it before. He's got a really good class. He holds himself to a high standard, and I know that, third is not where he wanted to be this weekend, but it's going to be okay, right? We'll get everything right, and he's a guy, right, that could be a 6 or 7 seed who has he's a good enough wrestler, right, to be a national champion, right? And so, get him right, get everything going in the right direction, and in 2 weeks, right, you can be talking that, Kyle Hammett's his 2nd national champion, or Hayden Pummel, or Nick Johnson, or Colton Drusius, right, Gabe, all these guys, right, Casto, they all of them have the ability, and athletic ability and wrestling ability to make deep runs, right? Whether it's on top of the podium or in the podium. So I'm excited for those 7 guys. Friday the draws come out, and that will tell us a lot more, right? Because then we kind of see, okay, is there some stylistic matchups that we can take advantage of? Are we a little bit at a disadvantage here, and we got to put together a really good game plan, right, to help our guy out? Either way, I trust those 7 guys, and I would ride with those 7 guys all the time. They're very talented and good kids, and we're excited. It's an awesome thing, right? When you get to, how long has it been since a program here, right? Maybe women's basketball has gone to the NCAA tournament, right? 3 years ago.
Yep.
And so it's awesome to get to represent Glenville State University on the NCAA stage.
And you mentioned those 7 guys who would be heading to nationals March 14th and 15th, but that's about 2 weeks away from now, about 10 days now as we're recording this. What's this week look like in training as you guys, it's the biggest event of the year, so what's that look like for you for the next 10 days?
Very, very varied, right, for different guys, okay? And so some guys are a little banged up, right, because that tournament's tough, and we got to focus on getting them healthier, right? And then we can ramp it up for them maybe at the end of this week. Some guys are right back into it, right? Ideally, we would like this week to be tough for them, right, to get kind of the last little peak conditioning and everything in, and then it tapers down for next week. But for some of our guys, we can't do that, right? And that's across the board. Teams are dealing with that right now of, you're going to have to look at where your athletes are at right now. It's a really long season. And so, we're just kind of dealing with our guys on a, day-by-day basis, and seeing what we can get out of them that makes sense, right? And so that's the big one for us right now. Our training, I don't want to say it's a specific thing, because right now it's really not. It's tailored on 7 guys. And we're going to do individually the best thing that we can for those 7 guys to have them ready. And so that's where we're going, right? This week will be tougher than next week. I know that for sure. But it is going to be varied on each personal person on where they're at with their body, mentally, all that. And then, and so we're just trying to, take that one by one and put them in the best possible place to get on top of that podium.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming today. Congrats on the big weekend, and we'll talk to you next weekend.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I have head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach, this past weekend, once again, you went 2-2. You had Mansfield at home. We'll talk about day one first. You lost 5-4 and 6-1. You almost came back in game one. You had a runner on third base, dribbler to second base, gets the out there. And then in game two, Mansfield had a 4-run seventh inning to really pull away. Just your thoughts on that first day.
Yeah, so we definitely have to start our weekends better. Mm-hmm. And, we made the adjustment there in practice a little bit. We're going to do some things differently. We kind of have just a culture in our program that, whatever we feel is not performed well on the field, they're going to see it show up in the practice plan. So it's kind of like making a deal with them that, hey, you'll see it show up in the practice plan. I'm going to take the blame for everything we do wrong as long as you meet me halfway and let's work on it. That's the only way to get better. So I think our attention span's not very good at the beginning of activities, whether it's group work, or whether it's practice, or whether it's a game. And then all of a sudden we get hit in the face a little bit and it's time to fight. Then all of a sudden our best version of ourself, our competitive self comes out and we play well. So we have to figure out how to do that in the beginning. And that starts with practices by, playing hard in the beginning of practice, conditioning, whatever it might be, just to get us ready to go, because we blur through the first few innings and just kind of feel it out, and that's no way to compete. We got to be ready to go at the go. So, we're working on that. That was the best lineup Mansfield's had that I've seen. The middle of their order was really, really good, and a couple of their guys were struggling and still putting up good numbers. We felt like, when we threw to a certain side of the location, the strike zone, that we had success, and our pitchers had trouble getting to that side of the strike zone. So that's something we need to work on too, is being able to command both sides of the plate. Because if you look at the video, we're throwing stuff out over the plate and on the outer half, and they're just diving in and getting extended, and we didn't make any adjustments. So, that's on me too. So I'll, put that in the plan where we're going to be able to throw inside, throw outside. We got to be able to command fastballs to both sides of the plate, and that's just simple. So things that we'll do. We have good enough athletes, make the adjustment. That's why I like playing a lot of non-conference games early. That way we can get things figured out, get going, make the adjustments that we need to. Last year, we hit miserable all the way through, the non-conference section, all the way through North Carolina. And then, we made adjustments and turned it on and set a program record for conference wins. So, I believe in our guys. I believe in the adjustments, and just they have open minds and they want to work at it. They recognize the things that we need to do better, and they don't shy away from it. They don't make excuses. They get after it. So, credit to their guy at Mansfield. He was 0-2 pitches. He was throwing, we call it in the river and pressure zones where it could be called a ball, could be called a strike, and our hitters didn't swing at them. Their catcher caught them really well, made them look like strikes, and I believe they were like 12 for 15 on 0-2 pressure zone pitches, where we were, we didn't have that many 0-2s, but, we were spiking sliders 15 feet away from the plate, non-competitive fastballs up in the zone. I think we only threw 2 competitive 0-2 pitches there, so we have to get better there. We get to 0-2 counts, and then all of a sudden it's a 3-2 count. So we've got to be better there. I mean, those are extra pitches, and we're going to end up having to get our starters out of the game because they're getting 0-2 counts, and then they're throwing 3 pitches every time. So, it's just not good. We just got to do better than that, and we will.
And things did look a lot better on that day two. It was a wild first game, 14-13 win there. Then you bounce back in game 4 of the series to salvage the split with an 8-2 win. The offense really came alive in both games. You had multiple 5-run innings in the first game, then had a pair of, I believe, 3-run innings in the second game. Just your thoughts on those 2 wins and being able to bounce back once again.
Yeah, so early in the game, we had to get our starter out. We're just trying to stop the momentum from their side a little bit. I think we went down 3 runs. We couldn't let that get any further. So, I knew we had to get in our bullpen then, and everybody was going to have to match up and, throw 1 inning, 2 innings apiece and keep us in the game. And that's kind of what those games will look like. But credit to our guys for not backing down from that. I mean, as soon as we had to make that move to me, it was exciting because it was going to be a fun game. We're going to have to think. We're going to have to, make moves, play chess. We're going to have to, really treat every inning like it's the last inning and try to score a run. And, our guys didn't back down from that. And there's a lot of times where the team mindset, especially after you lost 2 games on the first day, where you have an early struggle in that game 3 on the second day to where they kind of pack it in mentally. And we approached it the right way. I mean, I look at guys' faces, and the face will tell a lot. And our guys approached it the right way. I know when the starter has to come out, I know he's disappointed because he doesn't want to let guys down. He knows he can do better. But at that point in time, we have to try to win the game. And the guys came out of the bullpen and gave us, what we needed, allowed us to keep in it, and our offense continued on, and it was a fun game. So we were able to come out on top, thankfully. And then that game 4, Trent Taylor, freshman, got another start and settled in a little bit better than the last start. That's just experience. He's 6'6" and throws hard with a good slider, but sometimes we have to remember, he's a human just like anybody else. And, his first outing, probably a little bit nervous, didn't want to let guys down. I hesitate to say, it's freshman this or freshman that because they're in their second semester, and honestly, the strike zone hasn't changed in all the years he's been playing, right? So it's just a mental thing, and he's going to be great for us. He's a good freshman, Trent Taylor is, and we have a lot of young players who've been playing and a lot of glimpses of what we're going to be in the future too. I feel really good about our program, but we talk about baseball is – you play, other sports you play, you go home and whatever, you got 3 days, sometimes a week before you play another game. We play, and then 20 minutes later we have another game.
Yep.
So, and it's not just one game on the schedule, that's 2 games. So it's the same as another sport that would play and then 3 days later have another game. So it's really important for our guys to be able to clear the last and play the next, whether that's the pitch or the game. We're getting better at that, and that's going to help us. So I'm excited to get on the road here to North Carolina. That's always good to have a road trip with the team, get the guys together. It's going to be tough baseball down there. The one pitching staff we'll face was in the top 5 and multiple categories, and get out there and get to play. So a lot of guys are going to need there's 4 9-inning games over a 3-day period. So guys are going to get opportunities, and I just hope that they'll come out with their confident self and give themselves the best opportunity to be successful.
And then going back to this past weekend, this was the second straight weekend where you guys have lost the first 2 games of the series, but then bounced back on the second day and salvaged the series. You did it last weekend as well with Lockhaven. What do you feel the difference is right now between that first day and that second day? Is it just the psyche, maybe not the sense of urgency? What do you feel it is right now?
Yeah, again, I think we need to start better. So, and that can't just show up by me saying we need to start better.
Yep.
I mean, that's obvious. So, it's showing up in our practice plan where, we're doing some things differently to get the blood flowing, and every swing is important. We can't just give away swings and give away pitches and 0-2 pitches. Got a guy that throws 88 to 91 and is throwing 83 to 84 in the first inning when the slider bouncing, and it's not just one guy, multiple guys, but we got to start better. I mean, every at-bat is important. If the hitter's got a bat in their hands, they're dangerous, and we can't give up swings early in the games, and next thing you know, we're losing.
Yeah, it's 3-4 game at the first inning.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I tell you what, we're doing some things really well on the bases that it's not so obvious unless you really know what's going on. We're doing some good things on the bases, and right now our outfield, we have a system in the outfield where we throw to certain bases during certain times. We've saved 13 runs over the last couple weeks versus the other team has given us 13 runs because they've thrown to different bags, and our trail runners advance 90 feet, things like that. So our outfield's playing really good. We've played multiple guys out there, but they're playing into the system, throwing to the right bags. Our base runners are doing a good job. We get better at 2-strike hitting, and we get better at 2-strike pitching. I think we're going to be all right.
And you also mentioned North Carolina. You'll be down there for the Wilson Tops Classic. It's 4 games in 3 days, like you mentioned, all 9-inning games. Really gives you a feel and a look of how the conference tournament is done. Is that one of the reasons why you do that, or is it just the ability to go down to North Carolina, spend some time with the team, play in a historic stadium? What is it when you go down to North Carolina?
Yeah, so we just want to give them one trip down south, and North Carolina, South Carolina, those are good spots for us because, it doesn't cost as much as going further south, and allows us to go somewhere and be in one location and play a bunch of games. Excuse me. And they do a great job with the Wilson Tops, and the North Carolina Baseball History Museum's right there in the stadium. That's always fun to see, and The Mike Bell is the GM there. He does a great job. We're actually working with him now to get some interns for in the the game ops department over the summer and things like that. So it's been a good relationship. He does a good job, and we're just excited to get down there and play.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this week.
Thank you.